under fading skies. Tattered flags waving dreams in our eyes. The crowds roar like a storm on the wind. We're the underdogs fighting again.
Hey guys, good evening and welcome to another edition of Stateside Footy. It is Monday, October 20th. God damn it, we're getting closer and closer to Christmas. Shit, and I still got to buy airline tickets back to Seattle for the holidays. Got everything's just creeping up. Anyways, that's not your problem. Anyway, welcome to the show. Before we get into it, make sure that you hit the good old-fashioned like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any Stateside Footy content coming out. And then we got a doozy coming out on Thursday. So definitely hit that like and subscribe button. But let's go ahead and get after it because it is another episode of Yanks Abroad as the October window has concluded. Most of these guys have returned to their club. There was a couple folks that didn't suit up with certain injuries, but some guys actually had some pretty good weeks. And of course, the two that were featured on the thumbnail, of course, had pretty decent weekends. So let's go ahead and get started with the strikers because I guess we're going to start with the guys, at least one guy that had a pretty phenomenal weekend. And of course, that's Flo Balogun. As AS Monaco drew 1-1 with Angers. Flo actually only played in 28 minutes this weekend. He did manage to score a goal, so that's awesome. 2 shots on goal. 11 touches, 3 in the opposition box, 3 of 3 of accurate passing. And considering it was only 28-ish minutes, it's good enough for a 7 rating. And listen, it's hard to really kind of judge these type of performances because for the most part, not a lot of minutes. And for me, at least, it was kind of expected, just considering, when you look at the distance traveled for some of these guys, you would probably assume not a lot of them are going to be playing a full 90. But you know what? It is nice to see. It's nice to see these type of performances where, granted, it's less than a half hour, but still, Balo was able to get on the pitch and actually make a little bit of an impact with a goal. To me, I actually kind of like that. And granted, again, only 28 minutes, not really a lot to write home about after the outside of the goal, but it was still good enough for a 7 rating. I'm pretty happy with him. All right, Ricardo Pepi and of course PSV had a 2-1 win over the go-ahead Eagles in the good old Dutch Eredivisie. And of course, Ricardo Pepi has been out for a couple weeks dealing with a little bit of a leg strain. He was actually able to get on the pitch this one. For 19 minutes, did manage 4 shots on goal, 17 total touches, 4 in the opposition box, 7 of 8 accurate passing, and that again was pretty much it for Ricardo Pepi. Significant, like 10 minutes, essentially 10 minutes less on the pitch that Balo had. And again, I guess that was good enough for a 7 rating. again, read into it what you will, but the good news is that Ricardo Pepi is back, and now all of a sudden he's going to get on the pitch. This 19 minutes will turn into 45 minutes. This 45 minutes will turn into 90 minutes, and within at least by the start of the November window, Ricardo Pepi will have worked himself back up to a full 90, which basically means that Ricardo will probably be a part of the November roster, which I actually kind of like, because for me at least, I want all three strikers in camp that I know for a fact are going to be at the World Cup, competing in camp for playing time. But that is my dream scenario, and I think this might actually happen with Ricardo Pepi. So good first step. It's good to see him back. I think we're maybe a little over a month from the next window. So from that standpoint, I'm hoping that Ricardo will work his way into a full 90. Haji Wright did play. Of course, Haji had significant minutes in this October camp, including 2 goals against Australia. His Coventry, the Blues, Sky Blues, had a 2-0 win over the Blackburn Rovers. He played 62 minutes. No shots on net. Is what it is, man. Did have 20 touches total. 12 of 15 accurate passes. 4 of those went into the final third. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And defensively, he had 7 to 10 aerial duels. So I guess it was solid. It was solid. But I gave Haji a 6.5. At the end of the day, I mean, work rate's cool, but you have to have some kind of GA. Now, I'm actually the type of guy that's going to lay off a little off of Haji, considering that he was absolutely on fire heading into the October window, and took full advantage during that window. So the fact that he got an hour after so many minutes during the window, and he came out unscathed. Yeah, 6.57. Okay, fine. But still, GA does matter in this context. But again, I want all 3 of these guys in the November window, right? They are the 3 strikers that at least I have right now that are going to be representing the U.S. In the World Cup in 2026. And I want these guys in camp competing against each other 4 minutes, again, for obvious reasons. Josh Sargent and his Norwich City Canaries dropped a 1-0 loss to Bristol City. Josh played a full 90, only managed 3 shots on target, 29 total touches, 5 in the opposition box. And he was 5 of 8 of accurate passes, and that was pretty much it. And that's about and the only rating I can give him is a 6. And that's not a healthy 6 either. That's actually kind of a disappointing 6, considering that it's kind of the same with Patrick Agyemang, and Agyemang only played 30 minutes, right? And so this is like a full 90. As a matter of fact, I'm actually gonna dip him down to a 5.5, because quite honestly, when I think about Norwich City and I think about some of their problems, yes, they're not scoring goals at all. And of course, he's their talisman. But the reality is, when you look at Norwich City and you look at the issues that are with their head coach, and you look at the fact that they lost a lot of good moving pieces from last season, and including Borja Science, that actually took pressure off of Josh because of his goal scoring prowess. He actually took off, I believe it was to Portugal. Now what's left is they just can't score goals. And by the way, it's his 6th consecutive week without a goal contribution. And don't get me wrong, Josh has a work rate. He has a work ethic. There's just no goal contributions right now, and it is what it is. It's I wouldn't say it's sad. It's kind of disappointing, because you think that he would be the type of guy who could be able to potentially put the put the team, pull up the team by the scruff of the neck and get some goals and, potentially lead them to some wins. But man, this one's rough, man. And I don't want to say it because I'm going to let this one play out, but this might be a scenario where he kind of needs parts around him in order for him to perform. He's not going to necessarily be that guy. And that certainly has played out with the national team. And I think it's going to play out here with Norwich City as well, too. And it kind of makes me go back to the summer when he had that transfer lined up to Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga, and he didn't take it. electing to stay in England. And of course, when he didn't get the move to Leeds or Burnley, man, it happens. Speaking of Patrick Aubameyang, his Derby County lost 1-0 to Oxford United. He only played 29 minutes, managed only 6 touches, and was 3 of 3 for accurate passes. Nothing to write home about. And again, I gave him a 5.5 as well too, because he actually did nothing with his half hour. Whereas a guy like Flo Balogun actually made the most of his half hour, even getting a goal. So from that standpoint, it's a 5.5. And it is what it is. It is what it is. And of course, Damian Downs did not see the field for Southampton. That's also disappointing as well too. Essentially a healthy scratch for Southampton. So disappointing. Turning to our forwards now. Obviously, Christian Pulisic did not play. As of course AC Milan is a little heated because of the leg injury. Allegedly, the U.S. men's national team kind of elected to overlook or not let him know about it. So Pulisic was not available this weekend, and neither was Malik Tillman. It's too bad. But that being said, I guess these knocks were picked up in national team camp. Such is life, man. These guys are going to play for the national team, whether their club likes it or not. That's just all I'm going to say about that. I have zero sympathy for the clubs. It is what it is, man. If you don't want them playing for the national team, then tell them that they straight up can't play for the national team. And good luck, by the way. Good luck trying to keep players, because the national team is a part of the whole. The national team is important to all these players. All right, let's move our way down to Weston McKennie. And of course, Weston McKennie kind of featured prominently in the camp under Mauricio Pochettino, kind of playing high up on the right-hand side. He only managed 13 minutes in Juventus's 2-0 loss to Como over the weekend. Managed only 13 minutes, and it's too bad. I guess it's not that bad. It is what it is. 18 touches, 12 of 13 accurate passes. 3 of those went into the final third, and I gave Wes a 6 rating because, quite honestly, 13 minutes, bud. 13. That's it. And I guess that's generous for that kind of stat line. But that being said, it's not long enough where you can actually have any type of impact. And so from that standpoint, I didn't really want to, jack Wes over his 13 minutes. So I said, I think 6 is fair enough, but it is what it is, right? Alex Zendejas, who was actually listed as injured, he did manage to get 17 minutes in Club America's 2-1 loss to Cruz Azul. Again, 17 minutes, only managed 6 touches, 3 or 4 of accurate passes, and that is it for Zendejas. He managed a 5.5 and this one. And again, I didn't want to necessarily be an asshole, but it is what it is. 17 minutes, just like 13 with Wes. It's not a lot to actually have an impact. He did touch the ball. Okay, great. So I'll give you credit for that, but I'm not going to give you anything higher than a 5.5. It is what it is. Turning our attention to Brendan Aronson, he did manage 66 minutes over the weekend in Leeds 2-0 loss to Burnley, which is actually sad that Leeds lost to Burnley. I thought they were a little bit better of a team, but he did manage 1 shot on net, and he actually had created 2 chances, 40 touches, 6 of the opposition box. Looks like 18 to 22 accurate passes, 2 or 3 of accurate crosses. He also had 3 interceptions as well too, and I gave Brendan a solid 7. That actually is a solid rating. It was a solid performance, and again, we said this the last time this happened with Brendan. It's nice that he's carved out a starting spot on the right-hand side of their attack for Leeds. Very happy to see him becoming a regular starter. And now it's all about can you contribute to goals, whether that's with goals or assists, something that's going to have to show for this body of work, because the work rate, the performances are good. It's just one thing is lacking, and that's goal contribution. So hopefully we'll start to see that in the next coming weeks. We have a Gio Reyna sighting. It's as Borussia Mönchengladbach got absolutely humiliated and destroyed by Union Berlin. And I do apologize for anybody actually that watched that match. And it looks like Borussia Mönchengladbach is probably going to get relegated. I hate to say it, but Gio did play 30 minutes, and that's kind of nice. It's kind of nice for Gio. 17 touches, 2 in the opposition box, and 10 to 12 of accurate passes, and that was pretty much it for Gio. I gave him a 6, but that's kind of being generous. Listen, it's generous. I understand. Because that was like, I don't think anybody really shined in that performance for Mönchengladbach. It just is what it is. Yunus Musa was an unused sub this weekend for Atalanta. Turning to the CDMs, and Tyler Adams played a full 90. He was one of 2 so far to manage a full 90, and of course Josh wasn't a part of the camp, so that was going to be natural. And neither was Tyler. Allegedly, his wife had the second child, but Bournemouth essentially dropped a winning match yesterday. They had Crystal Palace up 2-0. Palace stormed back to a 2-2 to draw that match 2-2. Bournemouth took the lead late and then surrendered a late penalty. As Jean-Philippe Mateta ends up with a hat trick, actually could have won it too, but he missed a sitter. But Tyler managed 90 minutes, a full 90, 61 touches, 36 of 42 accurate passes. 7 of those went to the final third. 17 defensive contributions, 5 tackles, 5 of 7 ground duels won. He did manage a yellow, but yeah, one of those goals, Mateta slipped past him. 6.5 rating. Otherwise, he's kind of hovering right around that 7 pretty much every single week. But yeah, you were kind of wondering if, especially on one of those goals, whether it was, whether he was paying attention on some of that defensive coverage. But that being said, it is what it is. Solid performance. Tanner Tessman, as Olympique Lyon lost 3-2 to OG Nice. He only managed 13 minutes, did have 2 shots on goal, 23 touches, 11 to 12 of accurate passes. 5 of those went into the final third. One of one of accurate long balls. 3 of 4 of grand duels won, and again 6.5 rating because again 13 minutes played. Although it is kind of an impressive 13 minutes, but it is what it is, right? Tanner manages to be everywhere in 13 minutes, so I actually kind of like that, by the way. Aiden Morris, as Middlesbrough lost 2-1 to beat Ipswich 2-1, He only managed 21 minutes, 13 touches, 7 of 10 of accurate passes, 1 of 1 on aerial duels, 6 rating, about right. James Sands, who didn't necessarily have the greatest window for the U.S. men's national team, the October camp, but he did play a full 90 in a 3-0 loss to Hoffenheim. He managed 61 touches, 33 of 45 accurate passes. 5 of them went into the final third. 7 defensive contributions, 8 of 8 of ground duels, 3 of 5 aerial duels, and he had a good performance. In the midst of losing 3-0, he still actually managed to be a little bit of a shining spot for St. Pauli. So, good to see. All right, turning our attention to the wingbacks. 2 did not play. Obviously, Jedi Robinson still kind of dealing with the knee issue for Fulham. And John Tolkien also did not play this week for Holstein Kiel as he's dealing with a hip injury. Serginho Dest, again, PSV won 2-1 over the go-ahead Eagles. He played a full 90, managed 1 shot on net, but he had 3 chances created. 86 touches, 3 of them in the opposition box, 57 of 63 of accurate passes. 3 of them went into the final third. 3 of 3. 3 of 3 successful dribbles, 4 defensive contributions, 4 of 7 of ground duels. He had an 8 rating. He was absolutely fantastic. And that is something that I am very pleased because we are waiting to find out whether both of these guys, both Dest and Jedi, are going to actually be in a camp before the World Cup. because we want to see what that looks like. And I'm not the only one that kind of echoes that as well, too. Great week for Serginho Dest. Joe Scally, again, one of two who plays for Borussia Mönchengladbach. They, again, lost 3-1 to Union Berlin. Again, my apologies, wasn't the greatest game. Did play a full 90, 71 touches, 3 in the opposition box, 37 to 44 accurate passes, 8 into the final third, 6 defensive contributions, 7 to 10 ground duels, and he kind of was a 6 rating. It wasn't pretty. Wasn't a pretty performance whatsoever. Center backs. Chris Richards played a full 90. That's kind of surprising considering the amount of minutes that he played over the full camp. But that being said, it's like, if the player's ready to go, the player's ready to go. Of course, they drew 3-3 with Bournemouth. He had 77 touches, 39 to 48 accurate passes, 6 into the final third, 15 defensive contributions, 10 clearances. 8 of those were headed clearances, 4 of 9 ground duels, 5 of 9 aerial duels, and I gave him a 6.5 rating. Solid rating. Chris is one of those guys that are constantly going to be in that 6 point. Yeah, he's probably actually going to be in that 7 rating, which is absolutely fantastic. But that being said, there was a little bit of a snafu with Chris when it came to one of those goals from Bournemouth. So it is what it is. Mark McKenzie, as Toulouse did beat Metz for 4-0. He only managed 26 minutes, 16 touches, 9 of 11 accurate passes, 2 defensive contributions, and he managed a 6 rating. Cameron Carter-Vickers. Celtic lost 2-0 to Dundee United. He did play a full 90, but he also gave up an own goal. 115 touches, 98 of 104 accurate passes, 17 into the final third, 4 of 6 of accurate long balls, 8 defensive contributions, 5 of 8 of aerial duels, and I gave him a 6 rating because whenever you give up an own goal, man, you're going to get docked. Otherwise, he would have, with those type of numbers, you're going to be in the 7 or higher. But an own goal is an own goal, and it is what it is. And also, you can never be losing to Dundee United. I'm sorry, you're going to get docked points for that too. Nokai Banks, his Augsburg team drew 1-1 with Cologne. Did manage 85 minutes, 40 touches, 29 of 33 of accurate passes, 5 into the final third, 4 defensive contributions, 2 of 5 of grand duels, and again, a 6 rating sounds about right. Nothing really stepped out. Nothing was spectacular. But again, it's good. It's good, consistent minutes for Nokai Banks, and I love the fact that he's growing into his role into the Bundesliga, and he's getting a lot of praise for his play as well too. So that's actually quite nice too. So hopefully November he's a part of the crew that comes in against Paraguay, Uruguay, because I think he's earned it, and I also think that he possibly should start getting some looks either as a starter or coming off the bench, getting some minutes. Lastly here is the keepers. There's only 2 worth mentioning here. One of them is Ethan Horvath. As Sheffield Wednesday lost 2-1 to Charlton Athletic. He obviously played the full 90. 3 saves. He's conceded 2 on 47 touches, 14 of 29 accurate passes, 11 recoveries. But he took a red card in the 90 plus 7. So your goalies are taking red cards. But that being said, it was a 5.5 rating for Ethan Horvath, who surprisingly has actually had a pretty solid year for Sheffield Wednesday, all things considered what's going on with Sheffield. They're in absolute crisis mode as a club. With the points deductions, with the transfer embargoes and everything that's happening, it's kind of amazing that, that club is being held together by duct tape and glue. And he's actually been a bright spot for him. Jonathan Klinsmann, as is Cesena, team beat Spezia 2-1. He actually went to the full 90, had 3 saves himself, conceded 1, 35 touches, 8 of 28 of accurate passes, and he manages a 6.5 rating. And that is it. Nothing spectacular this week, folks. Nothing spectacular this week. I mean, you know, outside of Ballo, who scored, there was really nothing to write home about this week. And you kind of knew there was not going to be a lot of playing time. And sure enough, yes, there was some full 90s. Not a lot from the guys that were in camp outside of Richards and Cameron Carter-Vickers. You know, Des got a 90, but of course he wasn't a part of it. Sands got a 90, and Sargent got a 90. But that being said, it's like, this week was scattershot. The performances, some of them were okay. None of them were particularly great outside of Destin Ballo. But, it was expected. Some of these guys got some real minutes in October. And of course, when you're talking about flights from the U.S. back to Europe, depending on when they traveled out, how long did they have time to recover? How long did they have time to train? So it's not all that surprising to see not a lot of these guys really played a lot of minutes. So it is what it is. And of course, the remarkable thing was Zendejas getting on the pitch when we heard that he had taken a knock. Tillman, Pulisic out. It is what it is. So what I'm hoping for is that, especially for next week, when we come back to this one, we're going to start seeing some consistent performances, and hopefully, guys like Pepe have kind of moved up their minutes a little bit. Same with Ajamang. Same with McKinney. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But that being said, it is what it is. But I'll tell you what, you guys let me know how you guys feel. Tell me what you think was the best performance of the weekend. Leave it in the chats. And of course, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons, and make sure you hit the notification bell as well too, so you don't miss out on any content from Stateside Footy. That's going to do it for me, guys. It's a short one today, and it usually is on Mondays. But that being said, I hope you had a great start to your work week, guys. Take care.
Rusted goalposts under fading skies, tattered flags waving dreams in our